Okay, we are back to another episode of The Rescue. Now, it's been some time, but this is the map we're going to be using here. I've gone back to uh, the escape map where I believe we left off with Loomer. So here's the prior sheet, character sheet that I've been using for Getry. Now this is in Karen rules, as you can see it. I am disregarding this, and I have simplified it to my own rules. I'm going to be using this for both Getry and Loomer. So, as you can see, per my game rules that you can see on the left, I'm going to keep my rules on the left because it's just one page. We're using Lucky Dungeon mechanics. I should say that this is actually a system, not a game, as far as Lucky Dungeon goes. I'm not really being truthful here when I'm calling it a game. I'm calling it it's more of a system, it's a mechanic to drive a solo RPG. So, which it's a D6 engine. Now to sit down here so I can show you guys. I have Getry here. I have the fresh rolls for both of these characters, so we're going to enter in the final chapter of the rescue. I did carry the damage that Getry had from before. Now, per the rules, I rolled a d6 for all of his three powers. We have five for force, four for the mind, and a total of six with luck because I chose the luckier special, which gave him a +2 boost on the luckier original four roll. So now he has a max hit count of 15 with current two from the prior adventure. Loomer rolled to force of four, mind of three. Originally it was a one, and just a middle of the road three luck. So he has 10 hits per the count with +2 in the luck here from the one mind roll. So I'm sorry, he's a thinker. I had a pathetic one roll for his mind, so I thought I used a special thinker to boost that up to at least something manageable for our adventure here. So, getting that out of the way, Loomer and Getry find themselves at a familiar spot, at least for Loomer. So I'm going to keep my sheet off the side here. And I'm going to reference the mechanic, my system, like a Lucky Dungeon system, uh, frequently, as I'm still learning it myself, despite the fact that it's just one page. Now, let's go to the board here. I'm going to be walking around. You guys will see me. Uh, we have Loomer and Getry back back in this familiar territory. If you did watch the escape with Loomer. Now, as far as the character tokens go, this is Getry, this is Loomer, even though they are both carrying daggers. Now, in my system, as I'm going to work on it throughout the coming months, I don't have any weapons. I'm not using any weapons. We still have weapons from the old list. I might reference that, so I'm still keeping this list handy from the Karen rules, but items might be added to my system as an extension. But for now, there is no official item system in my mechanic. I should say, an inventory mechanic in my system. Now let's see. Per the rules, it is turn-based play, so 25 feet for for each character at least. Here's what we'll do. 25 feet is basically 5 tiles. Now, am I going to move my characters 25 feet total at a time? Most likely, I will. Now, since Getry has never been through this territory before, he's not familiar with it. But he's currently at the will of Loomer. Loomer's been obviously through this area extensively, and if for people who have watched my previous Escape, will recognize this map as a very familiar area. Each of these little rooms has been explored by Loomer, each one kind of symbolizing some kind of holy spirit and atmosphere. I think last time we left off was right here in this I believe this little room here is where Loomer, I'm sorry, yes, Loomer ended up in that little abyss, that little dark dimensional zone. So, as far as what they're talking about, Loomer and Getry are not very talkative. As let's see, Loomer is a mercenary, and I believe Getry is a mercenary also. So they do have some similarities there. They're both mercenaries, though cut from different cloths. Um, this kind of leads me to think that they're not very talkative, as they're entirely focused on getting the hell out of here. Now, I'd say as they are walking through this hallway, uh, Getry is following Loomer's lead because he's familiar with this area. And he doesn't even have to ask where we're going because Loomer can tell, I'm sorry, Getry can tell in Loomer's eyes that he knows where he's going. Now, let's move these characters 5 feet. So originally we were here. I'm sorry, 25 feet for my rules. Okay, one, that's 5, 10, 15. I'm gonna keep Loomer right there. 5, 10, 15 right behind. And we'll stop right there for our turn. So now we're going to roll. Now, because this is all luck based, there is no modifiers here for the Oracle. We're going to ask the Oracle, as usual, for the world's turn. We're currently on the world's turn. We're going to roll. Does anything happen at this very moment? Let's move the camera a little more fixate on the center of the map there. Okay. Does anything happen? Nothing happens. So no is nothing. Though it is a high no. Nothing happens. We'll keep it at that. So, just kind of hoping something would happen there, but we have to abide by the Oracle itself. Loomer's going to explore a bit just in case. Um, Getry is remaining focused. He's going to ask Getry, I'm sorry, Loomer, Getry's going to ask Loomer, is there a way out of here from this point? And Loomer says there is to our right. Just making sure this area is still clear from before. So Loomer's informing Getry that this area has already been cleared through thanks to yours truly. And I'd say that um, Getry nods in approval. Now, from before, I almost forgot, we were rolling um, from the prior rules of Karen. We were rolling an interesting challenge that I was attempting to do an experiment with the last few episodes, or at least the last episode or two. Um, we were rolling the Oracle for everything that Getry was doing. But now that we have two characters we're using, I'm going back to basics where I'm controlling the characters and the world is what we're rolling for. So we're going back to what we've done originally, solo play, where we're controlling the characters, but we are at the will of the dice. So because the world already rolled two in that mechanic, we're going to advance. Let's carry on Getry and Loomer down here. So Getry's going to go down this hall because he's familiar that this hall is back towards the main entrance of this camp. There we go. So Getry's going to turn here. He's going to go against the corner. He's going to peek around to see if there's anything there. This is where we have to run into a solo roll. Now, is there anything around the corner? We could do this two ways. We can roll against our mind, or we can roll against the oracle. Let's do an oracle roll here. Is there anything around this? Is there anything down this hallway? 5. There is something down this hallway. Now 5 is a good yes. There is something down this hallway. Okay, let's keep this dice in play. Let me make sure you guys can see the camera or can see the board here. Mainly just the hallway. There we go. Now we're gonna do a second roll. Is it gonna be a threat? Okay, here we go. It is interesting. I'm sorry about that. Bumped. A three is a maybe, I believe. It's possibly a maybe. Which, okay. So we've had bandits in this map from the last from the escape. We've had goblin. I think we've had goblins, but this area specifically has had spirits. So, but they're strictly in the rooms surrounding this pathway. So I'm going to say it's a goblin, but not facing Getry. I'm sorry, not facing Loomer. And because it's a three, I'll put that right in the middle. It's a goblin. Now let's roll to see how many goblins is it. You know what? I didn't really ask a complete question. Now, is it more than one goblin? It three is a maybe. All that Getry can see, I'm sorry, all that Loomer can see is the one goblin at that point. His back is turned. So here's what we're gonna do. Um, Bloomer is going to, or Getry is going to step up behind and collapse on the floor. He's going to step up behind Getry, Loomer. Let me see, track the names here. And he's going to whisper to Loomer, asking what he see. Loomer clarifies. He whispers back, turns his head back, and he says, "I see at least one goblin with a weapon drawn." So uh, now with the little talk that's going on, we need to roll to see if our whisper was quiet enough to make sure it did not catch the attention of that goblin. So were we able to whisper quietly enough? That's a strange question to ask, but let's ask the general dice here. Okay, it was a little, it was that's a maybe, that's a low maybe. We were barely able to whisper enough, but the goblin has a sense that there's someone nearby, and now he's turning against the wall. He's looking around. Because of that, I'd say let's have Getry and Loomer back off a bit. But this will require a action. This will require a force roll. Does Getry has a five, a force, and this is more like within the realm of dexterity and speed. So this is within the force and power, and a four. Uh, Now I realized something with my rules. Remember, this is all experimental. Now, the way I have this set it's a D6 system. So if I let's say I roll this for Loomer 2, his power is um his force power is 4. So he's not successful in avoiding the appearance, avoiding being seen. But we basically have to roll equal to. So having a lower power is good. Having a higher power is not. But having your powers total high enough is good to take the hit. So I see it's kind of a double-edged sword, and if I'm using that phrase correctly, because if you think about it, if based on my rules, higher than your power is a success when you're rolling through the oracle, a lucky oracle roll to your power, an action. If all my powers were one, then I would be successful in everything regards to actions, almost everything, because the an equal roll is a questionable roll. So I do like that setback. That I overlooked it, but it's either you want to roll higher. It's basically something comparable between. I'm trying to think of comparing between Karen and D&D, where D&D you have to roll, I believe, equal to or higher than, and then Karen you have to roll equal to or less than to be successful. So let's see, we can change this roll, or we can keep it as it is. Higher than your power is a success. Less than your power is a failure. Equal is a maybe, or equal is a questionable with narrative result, of course. So I like this. This is challenging because it's a D6. It's a limited die. We're not D20. We don't have more space to work with, and we have to roll to our power. So, which for Loomer, if we do this again while actually in play now, not experimentally, I'm going to roll to see if Loomer is able to step back in time before the goblin season. So we have to roll a 4 or higher. I'm sorry, with a with a roll higher than a 4. 5. He does. So Loomer is able to avoid. But Getry, though, Getry's still here. We have to do the rolls for the actions. Getry has to roll a 5 or has to basically roll a 6. So not good to have a higher. You see that counterweight? Okay, consider like a counterweight. If you have a higher power, you're more prone to failure in actions, but you have a higher defense during battles, during fights. So that is the setback. Okay? Now for Loomer, he has to roll a 6. I'm sorry, Getry has to roll a 6. 1. No go. So, and this actually does. I like this. I overlooked it. I was thinking it was D&D style where it's equal to or higher than. But so Loomer or Getry is seen by the goblin because of the 1. It's a fail, and the goblin screams intruder. Because he's screaming intruder, does that attract more goblins? Let's roll for the oracle on this one. It does not. He's the only goblin. He's looking around. He says intruder, but he's looking back and forth like there's no one coming. So, because of this, with instinct, Loomer takes out his daggers, or well, he already has his daggers on. He prepares for battle. I'm sorry, this is Getry. Getry prepares for battle. Loomer is still behind. We don't need to roll. We don't need to roll to see that. We don't need to roll to figure out if the goblin can see Loomer because the Loomer is out of sight. So I'm thinking that these two will use it to the advantage. Getry whispers to Loomer. I'm sorry, Loomer whispers to Getry, get him in close. I'll surprise attack him. So that's the plan for this. The goblin is going to strike first. Or actually, you know what? We're gonna do my play. So for fights, we have roll versus roll. I'm gonna say the goblin. This is a lower ranking goblin. Is a D4, an easy villain, an easy monster, target, enemy, etc. The D4 did not. I do not like taking out the D4 from this. There we go. Here's a battle dice for the goblin. Here's a battle dice for us, for Getry. Okay, so let's keep track of. We have D4. One of these D4s will be the health of the goblin. I'll use. I like to use. Let's see. We'll use this the kind of lava-looking one. So we'll start with 1. That. This is the attack dice. 1 represents its health. Or technically, we have to start at 0. So let me get the marker out. We already have it written down for Getry's health. So 0 for. Let me use a brighter color here. Purple's more, I think, more noticeable. There we go. Purple. 0 hits. We can take up to 4 hits. Okay, so here we go. The goblins gonna rush in. Rush in first. But then Getry is going. Loomer is going to surprise attack. Loomer has a d6 handy. So Getry has 0 out of 10 hits, so he's completely fine. We'll roll both these dice. The d4 is the goblin, the d6 is Loomer. All right, so 3. The higher roller lands. That's 3 damage. That's 3 damage to the goblin. That's the difference. Let's see how this is take part in narrative form. So as the goblin is rushing towards Getry, Getry kind of kneels and leans back with his daggers drawn. Then surprise attack by around the corner comes Loomer, strikes in, stabs the goblin in the side, pushing him back onto the floor, taking 3 damage, which is pretty significant. He only can take one more hit until he's dead, so he's bleeding out, but the goblin's still in battle. Now we're going to roll the dice for Getry against the goblin. Okay, 5 to 3. The goblin's been defeated, so he is out. So we successfully defeated that guy, that goblin. And with that, after this little battle, does anything, let's ask the Oracle, does anything happen? 3. Well, that's a maybe. I'd say because of that, because of that, let's see what to do. What to do? We don't have a Oracle to go to, or we don't have a kill the world. It's a maybe. It's a maybe. That's the thing. I'm trying to figure out how to decipher that. I'd say that there's a goblin further down this way that, or not this way, further down this way, that heard the death scream of the goblin we just took out. So because now, is there anybody else down this hall? Let's roll for that. There is not. So Getry sees the coast is clear. He tells Getry, "Let's get the hell out of here." So they're both gonna roll, run 5 feet. So five. I'm sorry, 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I really don't have the little bottom pedestals for these guys. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So now they're kind of near the edge here of the map. You guys can see my dice. And does anything happen here? We have to roll per the rules. Nope, nothing happens. Nothing happens here. They are able to make it out of this area successfully. So let me go to my transition screen, and I'll set up the next map. While you guys have to just patiently wait. You guys can still hear me. So I'm going to just open this up here. Pull my 2 characters off the side. I do have the prior map here. Map handy. Let's see. Now, some of this we've already used before. I'm going to say it's this area. Okay, Getry was second. Loomer, I'm sorry, Loomer was first. Getry was second in row. There we go. Okay, back to the game table. Okay, so we are back in play. There we go, and we're in we're in this hallway with two. Well, you guys can see one cell, closed cell. Does anything happen? Because we just ran 5 tiles, 25 feet. Something does happen, and that is a yeah. That's a basic yes. Something does happen. Now, is it a threat? Let's roll for it. It is 4 is a maybe. I would say it's another goblin, perhaps. Is it a goblin? It is possibly a goblin. They can't tell. So we're hearing voices further down the hall at this point, just now. Let's zoom out a little bit. We're seeing, let's say there's gonna be a goblin. Is there more than one goblin further down the hall? There's one for now, but it's back turned. They really do love to have their back turns. Back turns. So I put one a little further. Let's pan out. Sorry, not pan out. Let's zoom out. I should say that's trucking more than anything. Okay, so Loomer and Getry see this one goblin once again near the door. FYI, there's a door right here out to the exits. If you remember this area well, this is not a wall. There's actually an out here. So they just have to get there. And there's one goblin. Is the goblin walking? Let's roll. He's not. He's stationary. He's standing there, but his back is turned for some reason. Now, is the goblin talking to another goblin? He is muttering to himself. I'd say maybe just having a really bad day at this point. And we have to see if both Getry and Loomer can sneak out of this place to finally get the heck out successfully. So we're gonna roll a this will be a force, I think, a force roll for both characters. So okay, let's roll for uh yep. So five we'll do Getry first. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to the door. We have to roll to see if this was successful. Remember we have to roll a five at least a five. Wow, he got there successfully. Rolled a six. Okay, so Getry was able to get there in success with no trouble. Now it's Loomer. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Was Loomer able to get there successfully? We have to roll a four at least. Oh my gosh, he was, but four is questionable. So Getry stepped on a twig. He stepped on something that caused a slight noise, and once again, the attention's drawn with this goblin. The goblin does turn around here, although okay, we won't say he turns around. We'll say he does tilt to the left a little bit. He hears something and he goes, "Hmm, what's that?" Like, think of what was that? So, because of that, does the goblin note it? Well, we rolled a questionable. Um, just to figure out what happens here, because Loomer is not. I don't think Getry is going to leave Loomer behind. They've they haven't been through too much, but they've been through just enough to say, yeah, we can work together here. He did help him out earlier with that little statue, so he has to pay him back. He owes him this. I say Loomer is just going straight. I say Getry is straight just going to attack quickly, take out this goblin. So 5, 10, 15 here. We're going to do a strike, a force strike, an attack against this unknowing. Well, let's roll to see if this was successful. So we're sneaking up. Getry sneak up a 5. It's a forced move. So 2. He failed to sneak up on time. The goblin turns around and sees Getry. Now we're in battle. Now we're in a fight. So this is another lower ranking goblin with our d6. So I'm gonna roll them both. And we struck 2. So that's 2 damage for the goblin. That's 2 damage. Okay, we're gonna go again. Okay. 3. We had the strike here, so that's 3 damage. Yeah, there's one difference, so that's 3 damage. One more to finish off the goblin. Okay. Oops. Oh, yeah, we took him out. So that's one difference. Goblin is dead, so he's out. Now, while taking the goblin out, did anything happen? Something did happen. There's another goblin that heard another goblin further down, heard the battle cry of his fellow brethren. So a goblin heard not the battle cry, the death scream, the Wilhelm scream. He's right here. So Getry turns around because that's a maybe. That's not a yes. Getry turns around and he says, "Let's just get the hell out of here for now." So they both leave this area. So now I have to go to my transition screen and we'll finish up. So we were able to get through that map successfully with not too much trouble. One goblin took out as usual. And I think this is the same booklet that has the map we did before. If you guys remember, let me look up really quick on my index. There it is. Page 5 is what I'm looking for. Page 5. It's right here. This is another familiar scene from The Escape. And I think the original exit was right there. And I'm going to show you guys now what I'm doing because I almost forgot to switch back to my table screen. This is the outside of the encampment. So we're now outside. So a breath of fresh air, sunlight, especially for Loomer. Now, Getry has been through a bit, but Loomer has been inside of this place far too long. So the sun is just, it's clear day. The sun is just shining on his face, and he's taking a deep breath. And he's so damn relieved, but there's still goblin chatter behind him in the doorway inside. So At this point, does anything happen? Something indeed does happen. And I'd say that's a pretty high yes. They are surrounded by goblins. Well, okay, let's roll for it. Are they surrounded by goblins? 3 is a maybe. There is going to be a goblin nearby. Remember, so if you guys see the map here, they're on the lower portion, I think, of this area. This is a higher terrain. This is a lower terrain. There's a little a little passage around to go up, but because it's a 3, there's goblins up here on post on guard, looking over. So they don't see. Do they see Loomer and Getry? Ah, crap, they do. I just had to roll it, didn't I? They do indeed see Getry and Loomer exit the structure. So they're going to scream, intruders. Then they're going to turn this way. And then Getry and Loomer are going to react, hearing and seeing them as they were spotted, leaving. So picture leaving the structure from the inside of the camp, the formerly bandit camp or goblin camp, etc. And it goes from darkness to bright, and yeah, you're just blinded white from the sunlight. Then you see your eyes adjust for the exterior, the outside, bright day out, sunny day, and then you see 2 goblins on the hillside looking down at you. Now I'm going to say that these goblins, because they're ranged, they have ranged items, ranged weapons. So what we're going to do is put 2d4s. We're going to fudge the rules here a bit. Now 2d6 for Loomer and Guthrie, respectively. And then, yep, that works. You probably don't see the d4 too much, but let's use this one right here. There we go. Okay, so they have long range weapons. And in my mechanic in Lucky Dungeon, I don't really cover much about ranged or short, close quarters combat or long range weapons, short range weapons, magic, etc. My Lucky Dungeon is still in the works, and we are think of this as a beta test. I don't have because we're still limited to 1 page. I can't really do much in that area, so we're gonna have to really improvise. What I'm gonna do is just basically roll to see if they hit. So we're basically rolling to see if they hit. I'm gonna roll everything here. I'm gonna use a red die for Getry and a silver die, a frost die for Loomer. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have 1, 3, 5, 1. What did I say? Getry was the silver die. Getry is over here. So 1 here. Okay, so this goblin spear, it's the minute they walk out, they are attacked. So 1 to 1. Oh, okay. I do have a rule for this. I do have a mechanic for this. 1 to 1 is 1 hit to both. Okay, so Getry takes 1 damage. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 hit. Now he's at 3 out of 15. And the goblin up here, I should probably call him a scout. The scout goblin has 1 hit now out of 4 he can take. These guys, 3 to 5, the high roller, which means we're not far close enough for combat. So that's Loomer. Loomer's able to dodge basically, but the spear. Uh, you know what? I just noticed something too. Because Getry is not in close quarters combat, how did he get 1 hit? I'm going to say that Getry threw the dagger at the scout. That's how I dealt damage. So now, and we also got damaged. Okay, now we're going to do an action move to see if we can run away, flee basically combat, because these guys are, uh, they have a disadvantage on the height of thing in the distance. So we're going to roll d6 for the situation. And we're also going to roll the battle dice. So here's how it's going to work. We're doing an action combining it with a fight. So we're going to roll for force. 5 and a 4. So 5 for Getry, 4 for Loomer. Okay? And if the d4s from both the goblins are higher, then they are going to hit them as we try to flee. Okay, let's decipher this. So we have, let's see here. We have 6 from Loomer, 4 for Getry, and I'll just go about the dice as who they're closer to. And looks like we're safe to escape. So 2 to 6 is not successful. 3 to 4 is not successful. But if we're considering Loomer, Loomer is this guy, I think. Yep. Loomer is successful. He has a force of 6, so he rolled higher. Getry is not successful, but the goblin did not roll higher. So Getry is able to, I'm sorry, Loomer is able to move 1 tile. I'd say the goblin scout takes a bow out and fires it, does not hit, but uh, hits in front of Getry, causing him to step back and almost getting hit. So he does miss. So at this point, Getry shouts to Loomer, "Just get the hell out of here! You're just go! I got this!" And well, this is really up to Loomer at this point. Would he leave his fellow comrade in battle, or is Loomer going to fight back? And I think Loomer still owes him a favor. Well, Getry is paying him back. So Getry shouts, "I owe you one. You said I'm going to take care of this. Just get the hell out of here. Just go." So Loomer is going to leave him. So he's going to nod and says, uh, "All right, if you say so." So he runs off. He runs off map, I should say. Now, uh, Getry has 1 dagger left. So what Getry's going to do is 5, 15, 20. I'm sorry, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's going to try to climb up to get closer. And we're going to roll another. He's too far, I'd say, for this goblin. But this goblin's going to get closer to his comrade. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We're going to roll to see if he's going to hit Getry with a bow and arrow against RD6. 5 to 1, no damage. He misses. All right, Limber gets close enough. Sorry, Getry gets close enough. 5, 10, 15, 20, right here. And he strikes him with the dagger. So we're going to roll. Still has 1 hit. And that takes 1 damage. So the goblin takes 1 damage. This goblin runs up to, with a dagger, pulls out of his pocket, runs up to Loomer, and swipes. So a roll. No go. He misses. Getry jumps out of the way, and then Getry's going to attack this goblin that just walked up to him. Ah, he missed. Okay, but shoot. The goblin was able to do 3 damage. Remember, it's roll versus roll. So, and I'm hoping I'm following this right. Even though it's my rule set, I think I messed up a few times before this, but that's okay. Um, this is on equal playing field right now. They're fighting in close range combat. So I take 3 damage for Getry. So now I'm at 6 hits. Not damage, I'm sorry. Hits. Takes 3 hits. And now it's going to be this goblin's turn. These two are going to fight. We're basically switching off. We could do the whole party. 4 to 1. 3 more for. Oh, man. Getry is getting his ass kicked right now. Now we're up to 9 hits out of 15. Shoot. Okay, I have an idea. Does anything happen at this point outside the battle? 4. Something does happen. Loomer is sneaking up through these bushes here. He's right here. You guys can't see him. He's off map. He's right there. He's sneaking into battle, FYI. So we'll advance him every 5 feet, every 5 steps. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna roll again. Continuation of this battle. Getcher's attacking this goblin. He is. Okay, 2 damage. So 2 damage to this goblin. And then Loomer is running in, or not running in, he's sneaking in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. He's right there, FYI, sneaking in. But that sneak will require a force roll. So D6, 2. He's not successful in sneaking up to the goblin. The goblin turns around, but he's distracted. This goblin gets in closer. Now we're going to do is two separate combats. So these guys are going to fight here. And I think I have them facing the wrong way. Okay, so it's Getcher versus Goblin, Loomer versus Goblin. We're going to roll for Loomer and the Goblin. 3 to 4. We deal one more damage to this Goblin here. And this will do another roll for these two over here for Getry. 1 1 equal. They both take 1 damage. Sorry, I keep saying damage. 1 hit. I gotta get that lingo right. But now Getry's up to 10 hits. So back to the other two here. Let's roll. Oh, easily. This goblin's out. He takes a stab into the face. Just takes. I'd say more. Loomer takes his dagger and swipes at his throat at the goblin, and he just coughs out blood, dies on the floor, collapses. He's out. So this goblin's like, "No, Steve!" And then uh, Loomer is going to rush in, and they're both going to attack. So let's do 2d6 against 1d4. So let's roll. Okay, we have one here, two, and two. Okay, so the way this is gonna work, we're gonna divide it up. They both take one, but well, actually that means pretty much Loomer takes Getcher takes one more hit, even though this is a shared attack. Now with Loomer's case, 2 to 2 is one for each. So Loomer does take his first hit in this entire story, but that does cause the goblin to collapse. And he's out. So battle's over. They survived, despite the fact we took like 11 hits for Getry. Getcher tried to play hero, and he kind of did. But Loomer standing there, covered in blood. Goblins are dead. Getcher walks up to Loomer, shakes his hand. He says, "Thanks. I owe you one again." And then now they're going to part ways. Loomer says, "Time for me to go." And he's going to wish him luck. He says, "Be careful out there." And then Loomer's going to walk off in the distance. Loomer's going to stand there, and the sun is setting. And that is the end of the rescue. So while Getry thinks of his brother while looking up into the sky as the sun sets. So let me go to my 1 second, guys. Let me go to my face cam. I just have to adjust something in the background. Let me see if my camera's even working. There I am. Hello. Hi, everybody. Okay, we're back in person. So what did we learn? Uh, that's the rescue. What was it? 4, 5 plus episodes, I think. But that was fun. This was my first match for my Lucky Dungeon. Some things I can work on. I do notice that I can make some changes. Um, I think I'm going to specify a few things with the battle because it's just dice to dice. It's roll versus roll. So maybe I'm overthinking it, but for now I'm gonna keep it as it is. I might switch up the rolls for powers. Earlier I talked about how it's a counterbalance. If you have higher powers, you have higher values and powers. You have a higher hit count, a higher defense essentially, but you have a lower chance in success when it comes to the oracle and actions. So I'm going to keep it as it is. Let me know what you guys think below about that. Again, this is beta. I'm beta testing this out. I don't know if I'm going to call this a system or a rules or a game, but for now, it is what it is, and this is strictly for my use. So, but in any event, this is it. This is the last episode for the rescue. I keep thinking of the escape, but we just concluded both. I should say we did conclude the escape and the rescue at the same time. So Yeah, it was not a completely a mission success. He did Getcher did kill most of the goblins, I'd say, but his brother's dead, so it was kind of a mm, wouldn't say it was a mission accomplished. More of like, yeah, he did one of the objectives, so took out the goblins. But in any event, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on 830 RPG.